Hello, everyone. How are you? Hope you're having an incredible day, and may peace be upon you. Thank you for watching the show. It takes courage with me, your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. And welcome again to the show. Today, I have incredible guests, the co-authors from the anthology book, She's a Boss, here with me today sharing the tips, sharing the secrets about their journey, about the adversity that they had to overcome, and also sharing their tips on how they were able to move forward. So let's say hello to the beautiful co authors here on She's a Boss. And I'm just going to quickly add each and every one of them who are here today. All right, darlings, everybody can just wave and say hello.
Hello.
Brilliant. And okay, so we have today the beautiful authors of Eve, Roddy, Monica, Asia, Jordan, Caitlin, Michelle, and Amber. So welcome. And some of them are joining us from different parts of the world. I know Amber is in Bali on, I don't know what time that is on here. Some of us are on the Pacific time. Monica and I were on the Pacific timeline, and then we have someone on the Central timeline, and I'm pretty sure we have someone on the East Coast as well. So, ladies, welcome to the show. Let's start with a quick introduction about yourself. We'll start with the anchor and the visionary of the group, Monica, who's the creator, the visionary, the curator of the book She's a Boss. So, Monica, come and say hello and let everybody know a little bit about you.
Hey there. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on today. I'm Monica Ward. I am a telecommunications executive and a transformation coach. And Izzy, I'm not sure if you're aware of my journey, but I've always had the ability to see energy. I can see the etheric body around everything, humans, animals, inanimate objects like coffee mugs. And everything is humming with energy. And I can see that. So from a very young age, I've been a truth seeker. And because of that, I've gone through all types of different certifications. And so, I'm a sensei level Reiki master, medical intuitive energy healer, certified in Ho'oponopono from Bob Vitale. I've worked with amazing mentors like yourself, as well as Bob Proctor, Eckhart Tolle, John Assaraf, Lisa Nichols, some amazing people. So thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much, Monica. And if I remember correctly, Eckhart Tolle gave a review on the book, right? Which is on the front cover of the book. So that was like really exciting for it. And She's a Boss, available on Amazon. Well, I still remember you can go and grab a copy on Amazon, as well as each of the co-authors here have their own version. So you want to touch base with them if you want to have their own personalized, perhaps autographed version of it. So let's say hello to Amber, all the way in Bali. Bollywood always has a special place in my heart because I'm originally from Malaysia. So Bali and Malaysia, we have connected roots. So Amber, come and say hello and a little bit about yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's morning for you. It's 2:00 in the morning here in Bali, so that's the time it is. It's great to have this opportunity. Always great to be with you, Izdihar, and the rest of the authors. I'm CEO and founder of my own consulting, training, and coaching company, Amber Howard and Associates. I also have a podcast called What Would Amber Do? And it's been a pleasure to have a number of you incredible human beings on the show and more to come. And I'm currently as well director of the Enterprise Project Management Office for an incredible not-for-profit foundation down here in Bali that is building a technology platform that's really going to like just transform the impact sector and help us as a planet achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So originally from New Zealand, Canada's been home for most of my life, but it's kind of nice to get a little bit closer to the place where I was born, being down here in Bali. So great to be here with you
Beautiful.
all.
Thank you, Amber. And hopefully you'll share in our session in a little bit while, because Bali has always been part of your vision, right? It's always been part of your vision board. So hopefully you'll share a little bit about the creation of that in our session today. So thank you so much, Amber. Let's head on to Michelle. Michelle, come and say hello and a little bit about yourself.
Good morning. Michelle Harrington. I'm the owner of Outshine Fitness and Health Coaching. I've been doing this work for a little bit. I really work to help clients from where they're at in their own journeys and help them figure out what matters most to them in their own health and fitness. And a big part of that is learning self-acceptance, self-love, self-compassion, and finding inner peace.
Beautiful. And it's just about starting with yourself first, isn't it,
It
Michelle? Like
really,
all that
really is.
starting
Yes.
about yourself first, which is ironically is the hardest thing to do, to put yourself first ever. So thank you so much, Michelle. And hopefully you're going to be
Absolutely.
sharing a little bit more about some tips on how we can put ourselves first, how can we accept ourselves the way we are and the way we are not. So more of that conversation in a moment. So thank you, Michelle.
Thank
So
you.
next, I want to say hello to Caitlin. Caitlin, come and say hello and share a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Netsley. I am a mother of 4, and I have 4 young children at home that I'm currently raising through conscious parenting. And I am working on launching my business for Life Coach, which is based on human design. And that is helping people kind of get aligned with themselves and their true natures and the way that their energy flows through this life and the way that it was imprinted on them at birth. And through that, it's kind of just helping them get up to their highest power of what is their highest good, and help them kind of get back to the basics of why they're here. And really enjoying learning more about that, and hope that I can help people out along the way.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Caitlin. And, a mom of 4, hats off to you, girl. And I think like a lot of people underestimate about being a mom or stay-at-home mom. It is the hardest job ever. You get no holidays, you get no pay rise, you get no acknowledgments, you get all the bugs that the kids give you. You like have no rest. So hats off to you. And I feel like there needs to be a lot more of conscious parenting. Most of the time, I'm unconsciously parenting. I'm just like going to the motion, right? But when you have conscious parenting, you get to connect, you get to flow, and even when it's hard, you get to enjoy the whole being about raising your children. So thank you so much for that, Caitlin, and more of you coming up pretty soon. So next up, I want to say hello to Asiya. So Asiya, come and say hello and share a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Asia Abdul Halim, and I'm a Brooklyn girl, and but currently reside in Cleveland. I'm a musician, singer. I am also a mom, and I am also launching a business. You're a blessing. My tagline is basically investing in yourself is the best investment. Period. I just want to stress that message and talk about how important it is to be authentic and always come through as yourself every day. And also, I'm a poet, writer, of course, and I just love to make people laugh and see the best in themselves.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Asiya. And it's the importance of yourself, because for things to change, I must change first. That's what I believed in. And a lot of times our society has been programmed to play the blame game. It's all about other people, but whereas the key is us, it's within us in changing that. So hopefully, Asia, you're going to be sharing a little bit more about your take on that in today's session. And thank you so much for that, Asia. And next, I want to say hello to Jordan, girl. Come and say hello and a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hello, y'all. So glad to be here. If my voice won't crack, I get so nervous on these things. I'm so excited to be here with each of you. This is just really, really cool. My name is Jordan Sachs. I'm from Northeast Texas, if you can't tell, and I'm a mom and a top leader in a network marketing company called Revital U. It was my first network marketing company ever to join. I was a PE teacher. It found me through the products, and then I leaned back on a background in sports and athletics and leadership within that. Like, I had always been a team captain and a leader of sorts and those things. And so I tapped into that, and a lot of gurus and others high up in network marketing, they're like, you got to find your brand, you got to brand yourself, you got to figure out your niche and all this. And I'm like, but just, you have your brand, be yourself, learn your strengths, build your confidence, figure out those things. And so I think my coaching background with children and teenagers has really helped me, because those all just still live inside of us very much. And that's helped me parlay into coaching adults into how to build business, including myself, and building on those strengths. So that's what I do.
Fantastic. And that's so interesting, isn't it? Like that product, service, network marketing found you, right? Based on who you are. And, that is just so cool. And then you're using what you have learned to help others. And you coach from young kids. I used to coach young kids as well in my early 20s. And they're the hardest. They can be like, because like you're always overcomplicating things when you're giving instructions. But with these young kids, you can only keep things simple. Otherwise, they would run all over the place. So you've got like you synthesize the tools that you needed to run a successful business, which is keeping things simple. And hopefully we can learn more about that in today's conversation today, Caitlin. So, okay, now let us say hello. Oh, not Caitlin, Jordan. Apologies, because, I saw that Caitlin. Thank you so much, Jordan. Okay, let's say hello to Roddy. Roddy, come and say hello and a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Hi, my name is Roddy Markell, and I'm so thankful to be here. So thank you for having me. I am a Washingtonian. I was born and raised in the state of Washington. I am a mother of 7 grown children, and I have 15 grandchildren. I started my business a couple of years ago, a nutrition coaching business. In the beginning, it started out to be a vehicle for me to give back what I had been given. And primarily the folks that I worked with were middle-aged women like myself who had kind of lost their way and had raised their families and put themselves last for far too long. And so my passion was to help them rediscover who they were through weight loss and awakening, and not accepting that they have to just spend the rest of their life on the back porch sipping a toddy or a cup of tea and waiting for the end to come, that this could truly be the best time in their life. And so that's how that started. And then the business has morphed a couple of different times. So I have a couple of different exciting things happening. I'm also an artist, which I love to do and is my spiritual outlet. And I'm just super happy to be here. And this has been a wonderful experience. And I'm so glad to have met all of you guys.
Thank you so much. That's so exciting, Roddy. It's like for I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years, this woman has always been putting themselves last, right? Because of, the children, the grandchildren, their husband, someone's work, even their kids, or, the neighbors. But you're kind of like, hang on a minute, this doesn't work. This is not how we live our lives. We're just like not going to wait for for heaven to call us, right? This is our time to shine. So that is fantastic, Roddy. Thank you so much. And let's say hello to Eve. Eve, come and say hello and a little bit about yourself.
Good morning. I'm so grateful to be here. My name is Dr. Eve Hardy, and I'm a licensed naturopathic doctor. I am also a shamanism mentor. And the two kind of went hand in hand. I found
Eve, sorry, darling. I mean, you're kind of breaking up a little bit, and then you're frozen. Yeah, do you want to say, would you want to start back again, just so that we can hear you properly, and hopefully the connection goes through?
I section went along and I is that better?
Not really, darling. So why don't you double check your connection, and then I'll loop back to you. Would that be cool with you if I were to do that? Okay, perfect. All righty. So, what an exciting conversation that we have today. You've heard a lot of the ladies mentioning about putting themselves first, how for many years they put other people first, and now it's time for them to put themselves first, how they created things, how things come to them when they're ready, how to be the best version of yourself, of who you are, rather than building nailing down your personal brand on how it's going to look like. You already have your own personal brand of who you are and what you stand for. So I want to touch base with Monica really quickly here. So Monica, I want you to talk about the inspiration that you had in creating the book project, because you and I, we were part of a book project before. She made it happen, and then you joined in my book project, Women Who Lead, and then it transpired into you creating your own book vision. She's a boss. So what was the inspiration behind that, and kind of like having to cultivate or being connected to these ladies, Monica?
You know, the book project that we've been involved in has been so amazing. And I really wanted to allow others to have the same experience. And I know, the women that we have selected here were all pretty much handpicked. So these are women that I've seen them, go through trials or tribulations. I've seen their story, and I really felt like they all had a great story to tell that people could relate to and realize that they're not alone in certain things. And so it really was just about bringing people together, allowing them to have that same experience that is indescribable when doing a project like this, and really just to help people.
Beautiful. And that connection, right, that you were talking about. I saw in your article you mentioned that something was missing that you couldn't identify when you're working on this project, and then you found out it later was that connection.
Right.
That maybe like Amber would say it as the belonging or the connection, the knowing each other far more than just their profile on social media, but the things that I have gone through. So I wanted to talk about personally, like your experience in connection and creation. That's one of the things that you talked about, of like having this vision and then kind of like believing in that vision, even though a lot of the things around you are like gone messy and upside down, got pear shape. So I want to really talk about that, holding that connection and the vision with yourself, with the creator, with the universe, and as well as transcending it to the people. So essentially give us like an idea about your chapter, and a little bit about your life story, because at one point you had a fire at your home.
Yes, I did actually. Yeah, I wrote about that in Women Who Lead in our last book. Yep. So yeah, definitely adversities come. The inspiration for this book was my chapter is called Identity Crisis. So, and the inspiration for my chapter in this book was I shared a story about being misdiagnosed, suffering excruciating and permanent nerve damage, becoming handicapped, overcoming adversity in the workplace because of that handicap, and finally coming to grips and finding peace with the fact that I am handicapped. And it's so interesting because I thought that I had already come to peace with it, But when I was writing this chapter, I realized, I realized I need to give myself a break because I try to keep up with everyone, right? I try to walk without my cane and I can't go very far. And then I get upset with myself. And it's like, I need to just accept the fact that this is who I am now and, and appreciate myself for who I am. And it really, seriously, the book project, writing a chapter like this, I know I keep saying this, but it's truly life changing. And I'm sure that the other women can attest to writing their chapters and learning more and more about themselves in the process.
Beautiful. It's kind of like a healing journey and
Yeah.
realization and acceptance about yourself that you kind of like discovered. Because, when you're writing, you have to go deep, right? Like you can't just touch the surface because, otherwise it wouldn't be a story if you just like
Right.
touch the surface. And how has that allowed you in your everyday life? Like, the acceptance of who you are and giving yourself a break. How has that transpired in your work or in your career or your kids and the people around you?
I think it has helped to remind me that there is good in everything. Whether it's a good situation or a bad situation, there is a glimmer of good in everything, and we need to be thankful for everything that comes to us, good and bad.
Absolutely. For the good and the bad, right,
Mhm.
Monica? Because
Yeah.
in both, there is the blessing. I mean, who would have thought in your circumstances at the moment you could connect this amazing, beautiful women and help share their story, right? Like, if you were probably had the perfect health, you would probably be doing something else. But this was the moment when you realize that, it's about acceptance, it's about
Right.
connection, and it's about being of service to others.
That's right. Exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Monica, for
Thank
your
you.
insights and congratulations, darling. I'm just so, so proud of you for standing in, for doing the work. It's not an easy thing, but the key is keep like moving forward no matter what and having the best support. So congratulations again,
Thank you.
Monica. And She's a Boss available on Amazon. I had my copy, Monica. I've ordered it, but then suddenly the organizers of TEDx Downtown Women asked me if I want to, sponsor books and my journals. I'm like, okay, like I just grab whatever it is, like in my cupboard here, including that She's a Boss. But thank God I've taken a picture, so I shall be, showing that in a moment. It's beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful book.
thank
So
you.
congratulations again, Monica,
That's
and
wonderful.
thank you, Monica. And then now I want to welcome in um, Eve, and hopefully Eve is back up again. Hi, Eve, are you okay? Perfect. Now she is back. So, Eve, let's say hello and share a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do because earlier we had that connection issue. So, hopefully, this is going to be a smooth ride.
Hello, good morning. I'm so grateful to be here. And my name is Dr. Eve Harmony. I'm a licensed naturopathic doctor and a shamanism mentor. I actually found shamanism while I was in medical school, and I've always felt this tug between which one I really wanted to do. And in my last clinical practice job, I just felt this pull towards, really the foundation of health is spiritual health. It helps improve mental health, emotional health. And then when people feel better that way, they improve their physical health. So I truly put myself first this year, and I left my job and embarked on building out a course helping healers and therapists and medical professionals learn the tools and skills of shamanism, because spirituality is becoming so important to people and they're seeking it out. And sometimes they're seeking it out in more extreme and dangerous ways. And this is a way that we can truly ground in and have a spiritual foundation and just feel better overall.
That is incredible. It takes a lot of guts. It's very bold. It's very courageous for you to leave a high-paying job, right? That is well respected, and then going into something that you'll probably have, it's been calling you since medical school. that may not well be known to a lot of people, and some may be a little bit skeptical and thinking, what on earth is she thinking? Is she nuts? Like going from here to here. So I want to talk about the overcoming of that, whether it's doubt, it's fear within yourself or within the people around you. So how did you overcome that and not only make the decision, but actually trusting in that decision and moving forward with it? So can you give us some tips and how you overcome that?
Yes, I think that for me, there was a defining moment where I just, every day I went to work, I felt something was missing from healthcare and from my interactions with patients. And every once in a while, I would have that opportunity to dive in deep and get to the deeper core of how to help people change for the better. But it was really, I had a long commute, and so I had a lot of time to think. And it was really on that commute, time and time again, thinking, I want to create my own business. I want to teach shamanism to the world. And I did have to let go of the fear of teaching something that's somewhat obscure and somewhat misunderstood. And really the way I'm framing it is it's the oldest spiritual practice. All of our ancestors practiced some form of it. And it doesn't exclude religion. So that's a question that I get a lot, is whether or not it's appropriate to practice shamanism if you're, have a certain religious belief. And religion is more group oriented. It's more, community oriented. Spirituality comes from within. So shamanism and other spiritual practices like yoga, meditation, just even going into nature, these are ways that we become closer to our own soul and our own purpose. And so it really just, I had to do it. That's just all there was to it.
So you saw something missing when you're practicing with your patients, right? Like it's not just nutrition, it's not just essential oil, it's not just homeopathic, it's not just herbs, it's not just which is obviously part of the tools as well. But there's also something that is missing that I feel in our society nowadays has is lost. Not many people believe in the spirituality side, which is, for me, it is one of the biggest thing, because you can't do anything without God saying you can, and having that connection is the basic human need is kind of lost. So I really applaud you, Eve, for your courage in having that faith and that bravery to cross a bridge and then creating something that is not like new, but having your take on it, on how you see spirituality in this modern times, because some of the practices may not be applicable then. So would it be cool with you to share, one kind of practice that you've discovered is suitable for, our current situation?
Well, one thing that I love is called shamanic journey, and it's a sound, so repetitive sound that induces a brainwave state called theta. And theta is the state in which we receive most of our dreams. It's often the state we're in when we're doing the dishes, showering. We get those aha moments that are so fleeting, we have to write them down right away, turn off the shower, get out, write it down, or otherwise you forget about it. But this is a very intentional way to induce that state where we can get those expanded awareness and perception, problem solving, and just after the journey. This has actually been studied with EEG connection, studying people doing the practice. After the journey, people tend to feel more of a sense of contentment beyond just doing that. So it's like meditation, only amped up. A lot of people who have a hard time connecting in meditation often can connect in the shamanic journey because it has that sound to bring you back to the state where you want to be.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that information on having, and being in the state that you want to be in and having that tool. So beautiful. Thank you so much, Eve. And next, I want to say to Roddy. Okay, Roddy, darling. So let's talk about the inspiration behind your chapter. Out of all these stories and the challenges and adversity, or the ups and the downs, what made you write this chapter? What was the pull behind this story that you shared in She's a Boss?
So, I guess I would start off by saying that, in all transparency, this was a really difficult project for me because being 60 years old, I have a lot of experiences, and narrowing it down to one life-changing experience was very hard for me to do. But at the end of the day, it came down to what was it that I needed in my life at a time when I was struggling spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially. What was the one thing that stood out in my mind that gave me the courage to get up one morning and say, I'm done. I have to get back to who I was created to be. I had been lost for a long time. Like I had raised my children, and I'd had grandchildren, and my identity was in them. And so my health started to take a toll. I was doing things to my body I shouldn't have been doing. I struggled with addiction. I became overweight. I desperately wanted connection with my kids and didn't know how to get that because I was so lost in just trying to survive. And I just woke up one morning and decided enough was enough. And I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I did what I knew how to do, and that was walk into a gym. And it's from that journey and the transformation that happened through that process and the timing of everything that took me to that place that started my journey. And I had such amazing results, and I transformed my life in all of the areas that I had been struggling in. I sort of found my way again. And so I knew that I needed to give back what was given to me. And I wanted to help other women who were potentially going through the same thing that I was with the identity and the kids being grown and gone and what now, and having let myself go and trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And that all started for me with my health and my nutrition and that area. And so I got my nutrition certification, and Nutrition by Design was born.
That is, what you said, something like, I had enough, right? Like you were literally going on and like, stretching yourself to the point that the change happens when you say enough, like you made the decision yourself. I mean, clearly you could have gone on for another 5 years, 10 years, God knows how long, but the change starts when you make that decision. Because if you don't, Roddy, you will still go on and on in the rat race, right? Going round and round, another year, another day, and then another year. So I wanted to kind of like pull that decision making. Was it scary, or was it just like this urge of like, I'm done? Or was it scary, or was it exciting? Because a lot of people, they want to come to that point, Roddy, but something pulls them back. So what was that experience like for you? And hopefully you can help them in making that decision for themselves.
It was scary. It was exciting. It was all of those things. But for me, it was sitting down and having a really direct conversation with myself and saying, what do I want the rest of my life to look like? What's my why? Why do I want to do this? And for me, it all boiled down to, I want to be the best version of myself for as long as I can for my children and my grandchildren. I want to leave a really strong legacy for them. I wanted to be better, do better for them. And the end result was I was doing better for myself as well. So I could show up for them and be able to be the best version of myself that I could be. And that for me was showing up at the gym, losing the weight, not drinking, focusing on my art, writing, poetry, all of those things to kind of get myself centered back to who I wanted to be so that I could give the best of myself to them. So my why, being very clear on my why.
Yes, the bigger why of that. That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Roddy. Such powerful words of, having the big why and making that decision. So thank you so much, Roddy. And next, I want to add in our previous PE teacher, Jordan Sky. So, quick question, Jordan. What was it like to be a best-selling author, a number one international best-selling author? Was it your dream, or did it like kind of like came to you? What is it like now to be an author that's whose legacy is gonna live on for many years?
Yeah, it's a dream come true to have my words in writing forever. That my kid can show his kid and his children, and then it's always it's a story that is going to live in infamy on a page on a shelf somewhere, and it has just been the coolest thing. I'm very blessed to have both of my grandmothers still with us, the like 74 and 76, and those were my two favorite people to get the book to. I'm sure y'all can understand why, but it's just been such a beautiful experience.
Oh, it truly is, isn't it? The experience of just, I don't know, that exhilaration, that freedom, that courage, that fear, that excitement. It all comes together. And, let's talk about what you shared in the chapter in She's a Boss. So, again, what made you choose, of all the things that you could have shared, what made you choose that particular story? Was there something that led you or drawn you to that particular story? Or, was it something that you feel like you had to vomit in that moment, like calling you? So what's the inspiration that you shared behind your story?
I think that looking back on it, when I was trying to decide what to write the chapter about, I was like, well, heck, I'm 36. Like, what big life thing has happened to me so far? I had minimized that moment in my life so much. But then when it was time to reflect and like, what is something that happened that you want to share and write about that was a pivotal moment? And when I dug into that, getting that portion, understanding that you could, really up and because of all the self-development that I've done within my profession now, really opened my eyes to the power of thought. So people don't, okay, and I thought about this in the shower last night as she was just talking about there. That's or when I'm doing the dishes or when I'm driving, like she had a word for it. And so last night when I was taking a shower, I was like, this is exactly what it is. So and I don't want to put this in the universe, but I'm like, just to do an example of your power of your thought. Someone that you love right now, if you think about something bad happening to them, a car accident or health declining or something, it would make you, if we sit there for very long, that thought will bring tears to your eyes. It will give you goosebumps. It will make you sick to your stomach. And that is proof, the power of thought. That is proof that you can set yourself into a stress-induced state with thought. But there's power in that. It doesn't always have to be terrible thoughts. It can be, hey, I'm capable of X, Y, Z. And when you put your thought and that excitement and that intensity and you have that visceral feeling inside of you where the hair on the back of your neck stands up because you're like, I can go do that. I do deserve that. There is a way. That same thought process that takes you down a rabbit hole can take you upwards and onwards. And so that was really the basis behind my chapter was you have got to open up your eyes to what is possible for you. You can't just shut yourself off because you don't think that you can. That's your fault. You've got to think that you can reach that. And another,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I was just saying that, there's this game, right? What if? People always play the what if game. What if I can't, this, don't, that. But what you're saying is that if what if Jordan, what if I can do this? What if this happened? What if that happened? What if this happened? Again, it's the power of thought, right? Like we get to choose how our thoughts go, in which direction that we want it to go. And like, has this kind of like, how has this power of thought served you in your work, in your business, in raising your children?
That's a great question. I show Asher more. I've always told him, that's my son. I've always told him, you can do absolutely what you're willing to put work into doing. You're not going to go, he's 10 and he plays basketball. And I'm like, you're not going to be the best basketball player on the team if the only time that you ever practice is at practice. You've got to go out in the yard at the hoop and shoot when nobody else is shooting. You've got to put yourself and your time and your work into it, and you've got to believe in yourself. And another point to that is, I thought of this example was when you go for like a regular job interview, like say you're just out of college and you got a brand new $100,000 degree and you're going to your job interview and they're like, well, we would love to hire you, but you just don't have the experience. And you're thinking in the back of your head, well, no, duh, Sherlock, like I just graduated. How am I supposed to get the experience if I don't get the job to get the experience? But it's the same thing that we do to ourselves. It's the box that we put ourselves in and we go, I'm afraid to do that because I've never tried it. I'm afraid to do that because I don't have any experience. I'm afraid I won't be good at it. You're doing what those employers have done for forever. You're cutting yourself off at the feet right there. Like that's how you get the experience, is to do it.
Yeah, just like kind of like doing it and having the powerful thoughts in alignment with your actions. So thank you so much, Jordan, for your tips, which is like really important and really cool in putting yourself first and also in creating the love that you want. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank
And
you.
today after this, I wanna bring in our singer, poet. I was just like waiting for Asia to kind of like sing to us. Hello, is it me?
Hello.
The other side. That's right.
Is it me you're looking for?
That's right. We should have warmed up our voice a little bit better. Me.
Yes.
And have that projection. Beautiful. So Asia, darling, let's talk about your take on on putting yourself first, on and being a boss, on being she's a boss and owning it. What's your take on that you feel are impactful and beneficial for others to know?
I think my take on it is when you're saying creating your brand and you already have a brand, which is yourself, is expanding on that. I mean, I think it's so important that we look at ourselves and say, you know what, I know I can do it. I got this. We create that confidence that, we might not necessarily know that we have. Like I've always been told by people, you're very confident. And I'm like, I am, I never saw that. And so now I am confident, and just taking that, bull by the horns and just going with it. I feel like it's so important that we understand our strengths and know that we're capable of doing anything. I don't believe in saying I hope. I believe in saying I know. I don't believe in anything that is not definite. So I think being in She's a Boss is basically saying I'm a boss and I am in control of my destination and my destiny. And anything that I do is based on me and being true to myself and presenting that to everybody else. And that's why it's so important that we really give ourselves that pat on the back, that standing ovation.
Beautiful. And it starts with the confidence in owning into your strengths, right? Like I think like when you're not being confident is when you're trying to be someone else.
Oh yeah.
But when you
Sure.
start to be like yourself, like who you are, your bubbly self, or maybe you're a little bit shy, when you start to owning it to that, and then you can just relax and just start to be yourself, your brand, like Like, you broken into Adele Hello song earlier, and which is like, it's the fun person in
Hmm.
you. And I think, like I see, people get trapped into thinking they have to be someone else that they think people are going to like. Obviously, that's not putting yourself first. That's not about what being a boss is. So how do we break through that trap, Asia?
I think the biggest thing that you have to always ask yourself, does this make you happy? Is this really what you want? I was listening to Eve and how she was saying that she was missing something in her medical and her job and her clinical job, and how shamanism had always been a part of her. And it's like she said, finally I put myself first. And that's what people have to realize. You have to be like, am I putting myself first? And I also have realized this year that I'm going to put myself first. I've always been doing everything else somebody thought I should be doing, or I'm keeping the job because that's the thing to do. But it's like, when you realize this is not making you happy, and this is not who you want to be, and this is not your authentic self, then you need to take a step back and realize and say, hey, what am I doing here, and how can I change it?
Beautiful. So what am I doing here? How can I change it? And what makes me happy? Beautiful. Thank you so much, Asia. And hopefully we'll like have like spice out your life every day and every girl, right? We can probably have like
Yes,
a little
do it. Thank you for having
different
me.
version of that. My pleasure, Asia. And now I want to bring in Caitlin. So, Caitlin, let's talk about this experience of being an author and the courage to share your voice, the courage to put yourself out there, the courage to be visible. So, what has that experience for you been like?
You have hit so many points that were very sensitive for me. Putting myself out there and being vulnerable is hard. It's definitely something I've always struggled with. As a child, I was actually one of 7 kids. So when I wanted to get known and I wanted to be seen, I had to be loud. And then when you're loud and you're seen, it's not really for the best reasons, and you tend to get kind of pushed down, and you're like, you're getting attention for the wrong reasons. So for me to be able to like open myself up and write my story, it was really hard. It wasn't an easy thing for me to do at all. I I went through so many moments of nope, 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 I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. And realistically, though, being an author is in my blood. This was something that was a childhood dream of mine. I love reading. I love writing. It's something that I would do in my pastime just for fun. And so for me to pass up an opportunity for me to be able to say and share with other people and help them, and really help them to come into their own self and realize their own talents and their own skills and their own worth, I was like, no, I can't let this one go.
Right. And then just, allowing others to be great, right? Just because you like kind of like step into yourself and believe in yourself and like, no, 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 no. But you know what? What if I just say yes to this and see how it helps, you know, other people, which is such a brave thing to do. So let's kind of like, Caitlin, just give one tip for the viewers because we're kind of like running short of time here. So let's give one tip of the viewers on them to put themselves first and for them to be the boss, to create, to be the hero in the journey. What would be your tip if you want to let them know?
Focus on the moment and now. Focus on the moment that you have right now. If you're feeling scared in this moment, allow yourself to let that wave of emotions pass, and then really just put your intentions of what you want to do in this life right in this exact moment, and then make that action. Really give yourself the credit that you can pick up the pieces, even if the choice you make right now is the wrong one. You will be able to come through and pull through in the end. But just give yourself the credit. Give yourself credit to do the things that you are capable of doing.
Beautiful. And just let it be in the moment. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for your wisdom and really appreciated your courage to be out there, to put yourself out there. It's not easy. I don't think it's ever going to be easy, but at least, showing up is going to make an impact. So well done to you, darlings.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. And next, I want to touch base with Michelle. So, Michelle, let's talk about the thing that moves you in putting yourself first and being a boss and putting yourself out there and overcoming the adversity that you shared in your chapter for you to be able to serve others.
Yeah, I really came from having a lot of self-protection, really hard shell. And so being able to uh, write my chapter for my book, it was getting vulnerable, but I wanted to share so much of how I came from being really feeling broken and incredibly depressed and really considering ways of not being here anymore, and deciding that I had to save my own life, and what that journey was to get me to where I am happy and I love myself and have all of those inner resources that I was really didn't see for so long. So that,
Beautiful.
yeah, really inspired me to do that. And the biggest part of that was dealing with my own negative self-talk.
Mhm. And kind of believing in yourself too, right? And saving yourself. Like that's
Yeah.
what you said, that you had to save yourself first. And then, kind of like dodging or like you have all the negative talk and say, okay, thank you very much, but this is what I choose. Thank you very much. This is what I choose. Because
Right.
otherwise you wouldn't be able to survive those negative self-talk because they can be really vicious. They can
They
really
really,
pull
yes.
pull yourself down. So what's one kind of like doable action that the viewers can take to save yourself, to survive and to kind of like be in a state where they can like, thank you very much, I'm just going to do this. So what's one doable tip that you can share with people?
Well, like as far as with negative self-talk, because it never helps you get where you want to go. It will only keep you bound up. So you can thank it very much and turn your back on it, but really, yes, addressing, is this information true or not? And if it's not true, just turning your back on it, saying no, I don't need to hear that anymore. That's not helpful. Because at no time in history, I don't believe, has negative self-talk helped somebody get to a place of wholeness and self-love. It's only there it's there to keep us safe, we think, but in staying safe, you don't grow necessarily. So
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
the
So like,
conundrum.
yeah, so kind of like keeping yourself safe, but at the same time, turning your back. No, it's just an exercise. It's a practice of like, no, thank you, and turning yourself, and then staying where you're safe and positivity that that's going to help to lift you up, whether it's in
Mhm,
your words
mhm.
or in kind of the people in there. So thank you so much, Michelle, for your tips. And next, I want to bring in Amanda here. Amanda, darling, let's wrap this up with you and Amber after this. What is your biggest, like, if you can tell your 16-year-old self, what is your biggest kind of like advice to your 16-year-old self on being the hero in your journey and putting yourself first, on trusting yourself? What is your biggest advice to that 16-year-old person?
My biggest advice to the 16-year-old version of myself would be to continue to take on the battles as they come. I in my recovery land, I wouldn't change anything or tell my 16-year-old self to do anything differently, because then I wouldn't be helping other people right now.
Yeah. Beautiful. So kind of like be accepting of that journey, right? It's something that you just have to go through, and trusting in the faith, trusting in the journey, trusting in yourself that you have what it takes to kind of like overcome it. Because otherwise, like you said, you wouldn't be here where you are here today, right?
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, very quickly, Amanda, what would be your one action that people can take in overcoming adversity, or like, just like you shared in your story, what would be the one action that you feel that is not only simple, doable, but also has real life connection? Because sometimes when we give advice, it's not doable. It doesn't resonate. So what would be your action that someone can do that's going to be helpful to them?
Always speak your truth.
Always speak your truth. What if your truth is going to hurt someone?
I have learned that if it makes me feel uncomfortable, it's likely because it's making them feel uncomfortable. And it's some type of, like you said, facing stigma and anything else that comes along with it. Just continue to stay true to what you believe in. And remember that by doing so, you're helping, you don't even know how many people around you. Could be one, could be millions, by just being truthful about your story.
Beautiful. So be truthful to yourself, speak your truth, and let them deal with you. I think if you come from a place that is good-hearted, good intention, you're always gonna help others, right? So thank you so much, Amanda. And I do apologize. I'm kind of like rushing in just because of the time, but I will see, if I can take, another round of, arrange with another round with some of you who I had to shorten the time, and one of them is Amber. So, very quickly, in about a minute and a half, what is your biggest take? Because you are in Bali, you're creating your life that you desire by having that vision board of Bali for a few years, and now here you are at a beautiful place, very spiritual. So, what would be your take, your biggest advice in people who wants to create that vision for themselves and want to be that hero in their own journey?
Such a great question. It's actually about, my biggest advice would be what the chapter was about in the book, which is like, look for partnership. So I spent the majority of my life being like the textbook definition of a lone wolf. And when Monica came to me with the opportunity to be in the book project, we met in your first book project, and then I was doing Game Changers with you, and literally we did the interview for that book while I was at the airport to fly to California to come here, and so much going on. But it was like, I love Monica, and I need to share about partnership, because I wouldn't be where I am today without the extraordinary people that were around me and sustained me through so many challenges in life. But for most of my life, I couldn't even see them. Like, I didn't have access to really receiving all of their contributions, because I had so many limiting beliefs around that I had to do it on my own, that I couldn't burden other people. So my biggest tip and my biggest advice is, like, anywhere in your life where you feel stuck and you don't have the freedom to create what it is that you want, look for partners, reach for partnership. Who are the people who are trying to contribute to you? Where are you cutting that flow of energy off to you because you've got to be right about that you need to do it on your own, or you can't ask for people's contributions, or whatever it is. And especially for so many women, I think it's a big part of our network of conversations and our programming and that we grow up with, that, we have to care for and take care of other people, but it's really about allowing other people to contribute and care for you.
Thanks so much, Emma, and such a sound advice in wrapping up the show of being an excellent receiver. So I'm just gonna say to everybody, just say goodbye, and then for everybody to say goodbye to our viewers today. Thank you so much I think I have everybody joining us today. All right, everybody, let's get off mute and say goodbye and thank you. Until the next episode, this is your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. Tell yourself, yes, I can.
Thank you.
And so,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.